Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in to another daily live stream. Right now, Decentralized Science up marginally. Looks like it's up 2% to $545 million market cap. We've basically just been sitting at this market cap for several months at this point. We're going to talk about what I believe is the final dip before Bitcoin breaks to new all-time highs. Right here, we are in the middle of the legendary circle that has been on the chart for the last couple of months. Bitcoin taking a little bit of a pullback here today to, in my opinion, bounce off of the 20-day moving average before finding its home well in the $120,000 range. The rest of the financial markets, the stock market that is, have been seeing all-time highs day after day for the last couple of days. So I do believe Bitcoin is setting up for that type of a move. First, of course, we just need to finish up whatever this is, and then I believe the circle prophecy will finally come true. Today, we're going to talk about decentralized science, believe it or not. It's going to be an interesting live stream. It is a Monday afternoon live stream, so hopefully you guys are geared up, have had a pretty eventful week already. It is only just a couple hours into the week, but of course, hopefully you guys are enjoying it. We saw some crazy price action on BID over the weekend, believe it or not. We saw BID continuing in this extremely strong uptrend here. It has been going crazy since back here in the beginning of June. So it's been 1 month now of just a very strong stair-stepping trend upwards. We saw it peak out here just shy of 16.5 cents, which is pretty amazing because we are almost back to the highs that we had seen when BID first launched the token. Most, if not all of you guys have some BID tokens, I know, because you're endorsing our good friend Bill, the DeSci guy, the AI agent that we've been creating for the last 7-8 months. Very exciting time to see Creator BID getting some of the limelight it deserves. Chilling up here at a $40 million market cap. I was telling you guys ever since it's been out in the market, basically, that this is something I would pay very close attention to. Creator BID was down at 3.5 cents, so we saw it go up nearly 350% this month. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing indeed. Good morning, Morales. Good morning, Wild Africa. Welcome in, Beagle. How's it going, David? Landon here with a very solid point. Bill kind of sold off. I don't get why when BID is moving. I know. People, if you go look, and so I posted this post on my page here over the weekend because it kind of just highlights the epitome of retail. Don't be like this guy. Obviously do whatever you want with your money, but genuinely don't be like this guy, right? So this wallet I saw selling some of Bill over the weekend, and so I was just curious. I looked into it to see that a month ago he had purchased a little bit of Bill here, and then a couple days later sold all of it for a marginal loss, like barely breaking even, then for it to double. And as soon as it doubled, he bought right back in, and he bought back in for even more money, and then sold all of it again. So if you go look at Bill's chart, right? If you go look at Bill, you can actually see that what he was doing, he bought a bunch of Bill right in here, right after it pumped. And then when it started going down, he sold. And then he bought a bunch more up here right after it pumped again. And then he just sold. Now this time he sold right before a decent little sell-off happened there. But if you go look at him, somehow on something that went up quite literally in that time frame, it went up 600%, he managed to lose money. So don't do that. Don't lose money on stuff when it's going up. I feel like that should go without saying, but people want the hottest trend. People don't want to wait on something to make the money. They want to get in, make money to retire their family, and get out. And that's not how you win the game. That's just point blank not how you win the game. We go over it all the time. You want to buy into stuff that you think's got a solid long-term potential, and then you want to enjoy the ride as it continues to progress. Will Bill be like that? We'll have to wait and see. I got my old mugs back. If you guys recall, many months ago, I had shattered this mug. And so I finally just got a new one, and I am very happy to have it back. Proud supporter of the live stream, H2O. Enjoy your water, ladies and gentlemen. It is very needed. The uptrend on Bill is still looking very solid. The creator bid ecosystem absolutely exploding, and the market starting to eke out new all-time highs here in the very, very near term. Everything is lining up for a very good bull run here as in crypto, the final leg of the market in my opinion. If we come look at Bitcoin dominance, we had a little bit of a sell-off over the weekend, but it did not break the uptrend at all. In fact, it is still just bouncing off of what the previous all-time high was this cycle. This is Bitcoin dominance, of course. Things look like it's still just Bitcoin's show. I wouldn't be that surprised for this to have another big push upwards here before having a retest to the 200-day moving average. But who knows? Every time it gets very extended from the moving average, we do see it come back down and test the 200-day moving average, and that is when we get the alt season. So I am waiting patiently for this to finally get another test, and that is what has been the entire bull market so far. It would be amazing for us to see dominance start to actually break below the 200-day moving average. However, I don't think that's going to happen until the Feds have cut rates dramatically. And unfortunately, my line of thinking is that when the Feds are cutting rates, we will in fact no longer be in a super glorious bull market. So I don't think we're going to see the traditional altcoin season this cycle. Hopefully by speaking it out loud like that over and over again, I will jinx the entire market and we will see the alt cycle, but who knows? I'm just here trying to play within the confinements of the data we currently have, right? Need to get that DiNX chart to recover. Oh God, I don't even want to see the DiNX chart. It's been rough. Good morning. The last deep, what? I don't even know what that means, Dr. Crypto, but good morning. Respect you being here. When do you expect to push KOLs for Bill? I have no idea. I've just been continuing to try and develop and ship on Bill. So if you guys have some KOLs you want to talk to, then by all means, send them in the main Telegram chat and I will be happy to reach out and see if they want to work something out. But unfortunately, I've just been letting it be organic. All of what has occurred within Bill has been organic. No paid KOLs, nothing. Just continuing to build and making noise and then telling people about it. And then when the price chart looks good, people pick up on it. When it doesn't, people don't pick up on it. We can, by all means, we can get some KOLs on it, but you go look at all the KOL projects, they just continue to bleed. And that is a symptom of KOLs. Not saying we don't need them, right? You guys know my stance on it. I love KOLs when they can do good, but when they just are there for the paycheck, it is pretty annoying. Really annoying, actually. But, or you have better use of his treasury. I mean, I pay a lot out of pocket for his stuff, but his treasury's just been chilling there right now. So, I want to bring up TLT again, because as we get closer and closer to Feds cutting rates, TLT will become a very obvious play for people. A lot of people right now believe rates are going to go higher, meaning TLT will sell off even more. That's without a doubt not going to end up being the case. I very strongly believe that. We do not have an economy where you can have much higher rates than where we're at right now. Arguably, they should be a good chunk lower. When they do lower rates, TLT will in fact pop off a bit. So you guys know I'm hanging on to it tight there. Good morning, C90. Okay, we don't really need KOLs. I mean, we can get them. We can have them. I've just been so hyper fixated on it, building some cool, useful tools for them that I don't really, Like I would have to go out and accumulate a bunch of bill to go give to the KOLs knowing that they're going to sell it. And so it's just like, I'd rather they just go find it, buy it, and then enjoy the ride with us. All right. Got some DeSci news to go through here today. First up, we have the Poseidon vote going on right now. So there's 3 days left to vote on the proposal number 4. Remember, if you lock up your SCI and vote on the proposal, you get rewarded in some PO tokens, which you can redeem for some more SCI. The conversion rate's not super fantastic, but you do get a few extra SCI tokens whenever you do that. So make sure you guys have voted on the proposal if you guys are interested in it. On Friday, we read through the proposal so you guys can get a good understanding of what is going on over at SCI. I think it's going to be a good one. And again, the more you can get funding from these DAOs, the better the chances of committing to that flywheel are. So we want that flywheel to begin turning. It just takes a lot of momentum to get that flywheel started. We're getting very close though. A lot of DeSci is getting very close to getting some solid molecules out there in the public, having done some actual tests and getting FDA approval and stuff like that. So we're getting closer for a solid flywheel turn, if that makes sense. We also have some updates from Dynex here. So Dynex pleased to announce another milestone in their mission to democratize quantum education. The Applied Quantum Computing with Dynex course has received official academic accreditation from Sonia College of Technology. So this is a college in India, and they are training people on how to use Dynex's network. So it has literally become a college course on how to use Dynex. They're training their next wave of developers to come in and help expand the network. It is pretty exciting to see. This has been something that I've been waiting on happening since back in like October of last year is when I think the first time I heard that they were working on this. I'd love to read through it. I'd love to take the course, honestly. I'd love to get a good understanding of how to use Dynex's Quantum as a Service so that I could actually use it, you know, play around with it, enjoy the technology. I think that the people who are taking courses like this and setting themselves up for quantum computing are setting themselves up to be kind of the foundational knowledge base for the next wave of technology in the internet. AI right now is taking over everything, and AI rightfully should be taking over everything. Quantum computing is here and is setting itself up to also take over the entire internet. So it'll be very powerful in the coming decade or so to see how far quantum computing can come. I think it's like we're in 2015 for AI right now for quantum, is my guess. Next up, we have a SciDAO space. So meet the BR dev tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. So half an hour before we go live. As you guys know, we go live Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard. Talk about decentralized science and the broader crypto markets. Tomorrow at 11:30, SciDAO is having a space with the BR dev. You guys know I'm a big fan of BR. If we go look at their token, I don't know that it'll be on Dex Screener because it's not super high in volume, but it is apparently on Dex Screener. That's not the correct one. It might be, but that's not the full chart. Maybe it is. Is that really the full chart? Looks kind of rough. But I'm hanging on tight to my BR. I have a big bag of BR and I am holding on for the ride. Up or down, doesn't matter to me. I think that the long-term potential of all these IP tokens is absurd. So I'm hanging on tight to mine. It's really most, if not all of these coins, all these microcaps, all the DeSci coins that we follow, you guys all know because we talk about it very consistently, but you guys know what we need to see is Bitcoin break out, have a nice leg, ideally to the top of this channel, which the top of the channel is inching closer and closer to that $150,000 mark that I was waiting and hoping for since the beginning of the cycle. We need Bitcoin to make that break up to the top of the channel. And hopefully that top of the channel comes in the next quarter, Q3 at some point. And then we can see the altcoin season, the mini altcoin season that we get every single time Bitcoin goes crazy. And that in this push is when you get the crazy returns that everyone's looking for, right? We saw Axon in this one. We saw Research Hub in this one. We saw RIF and Euro in this one. And now we're waiting patiently to see Bill and the IP tokens for this one. No one knows exactly what it's going to look like, but that's what my expectations are. Especially when they continue to just, the IP tokens that is, continue to just get momentum and positive news, right? You go look at one like Vita RNA. Vita RNA Bio, aka Art and Bio. They're teaming up with Synex, I don't know how to pronounce it, but for precision in vivo delivery of the drug Artin 102. So again, remember, this is Vita RNA, which is a fully fledged biotech company right now. Artin Bio is the company behind Vita RNA, and it stems from Vita DAO. It is a medicine, I don't know exactly what to call it right now because my brain is blanking on it, but it helps with nonsense mutations, aka when your DNA is replicating itself and it just accidentally spits in a random base pair instead of the correct one for no reason, a nonsense mutation. And they have developed out a medicine here, Artin 102, which helps stop that from happening, which is a very powerful longevity supplement or longevity drug. So I'm excited to see them continue to push forward with this. Remember, Paul at DeSci Berlin indicated that these two drugs from VitaDAO are extremely close to getting regulatory approval. So I would not be surprised to see these things start taking over some of the limelight in DeSci, which would then shed light on all of the IP tokens. These two being some of the biggest, the others being a lot smaller, thus more potential upside. Then, been a minute since I've brought anything up from Mudo here, but we have an announcement, a post here from Mudo, ticker DNA. We're not passive. We're built to protect. Selenium Plus activates your GPX1 gene to fight oxidative stress, support thyroid health, and slow cellular aging. With added magnesium, vitamin C, and iodine for maximum bioavailability, join the health revolution. So, DNA here has come up with a supplement to take, selenium, which is just a supplement. Fuck, why do I keep blanking on stuff like that? I take selenium in my minerals. There we go. Not a multivitamin, a multi-mineral. So selenium is a very powerful one. Same with magnesium. Magnesium and selenium are very powerful minerals that you honestly should be taking. And then vitamin C, of course, just for that oxidative stress. Vitamin C is incredibly powerful. Pump. Let's go pump. Yeah. And we are speed running the news here. Final one I had for the day is Valley DAO. Valley DAO is live on Binance Square. So you can go over to Binance's social media website, Binance Square, and peep some information on Valley DAO. They are posting some of their updates and just being social leaders on Binance's platform here. Maybe they're trying to get some attention from Binance Labs. Who knows what the end game here is, but I imagine it's for some extra attention. This is not so big in the United States, but this Binance Square is fairly big around the world, mostly the eastern side of the world, not so much the western side, but still good to get more attention, more eyes. I'm curious to see what some of the trending articles on Binance Square are. I have not done any looking into Binance Square. So on June 22nd, an article here with 13,000 views. This feels like the LinkedIn of crypto. That's a terrible crash there, if that's true. Damn, $18 trillion down in China's real estate market since 2021. You know, we're in the middle of a pretty drastic real estate correction here in the United States as well. You can go see new construction builds. What's the name of the construction company that begins with an L? A construction company just recently reported their numbers and it was pretty atrocious. They had seen some crazy crashes in new construction. I forget the name of the company, so I'm not going to be able to find it, but yeah, that's not going to be a good enough search, huh? Lennar. Basically, they had just reported that they had to bring new construction prices down by 24% since 2022. So trying to get a new home, yeah, here it is. I think it had gotten even worse than this. New homes median sale prices since 2022, they hit up here at like $500,000 on average, and they were down in the 300s now. So it had been, we'd seen in new construction a collapse of 24% in new construction median home prices, which is absolutely astonishing. This graphic here is from March of 2024, so over a year ago. It had just gotten worse over the last year. We're seeing a pretty drastic price crash here, which is very interesting to see because most people aren't talking about it at all. I'm seeing it a little bit more pop up on social media, marginally more people making videos on it on YouTube, but ultimately it's going pretty much under the radar. But if you go look on Zillow, you'll see most houses now that are getting listed, and then within a month they're getting sliced by like 10 to 20%, which is not great. So I imagine that data is going to be coming in the next like 3 months or so. If you're seeing it over the last 2 or 3 months, the housing market data usually lags by like 6 months. And so in the next 3 or 4 months, we'll probably see that data coming in and showcasing that we're in a pretty rough market spot right now for it. But let's go, Solus. One final dip to pump them all. Let's go. W. Lennar. Yes, thank you, David. I appreciate that. I should have been reading the comments. PTE ton games have plagued Binance Square. Yeah, I bet. Those games got very, very oversaturated. The shortest shelf life of crypto that I've seen. 7 of you are unverified shillers. Like the live stream to get verified now. Agree. We'll go ahead and pin that comment, pin the message. We're headed into a recession. I firmly believe that. I think I was also just watching a YouTube video this morning as I was getting ready for the day. I didn't save the metric he was talking about, but we saw the unemployment numbers come in and they weren't that bad, right? But that was because a massive shift. He was saying how roughly 600,000 people last month in the job claims reported that they were no longer looking for work, making them no longer unemployed people, right? Because the way that they measure the data is via unemployed metrics. So people that are looking for work and have been unemployed. And so when you stop looking for work, you're no longer considered unemployed. And so the number of unemployed individuals was skyrocketing, but because they were no longer even looking, they had just given up. Then the number itself that everyone bases it off of didn't actually go up, which was pretty shocking because we have an unemployment number that is slowly creeping up right now. And in part that's due to AI, but not altogether. So we are absolutely teetering on the edge of a recession. If we actually go into it, I have no idea, and neither do you. But you look at it, we hit a low of 3.4, and now we're at 4.2. So we're up almost 1% on the number of unemployed people in the United States. Now, that is a drastic move, but because we're still so low, it's not having that quick spike up, right? But even look at this, right? You could say probably the same thing back here in '08, where it was like, yeah, we've climbed up a little bit from 4.4 to 5.4, but ultimately it hasn't really gone parabolic yet until it did. So I don't know what's going to happen. Neither do you. Not the best time to be laid off. Yeah, but good thing you got millions in crypto, right, C90? What's good, MG? Welcome in. Thanks for helping me build the compound team, Patrick. I'm talking to KOS about it. Will be great. Let's go, Solus. That's what the Shillers is there for. That is what the Shillers Telegram is there for. We go look at it. For those of you who don't know what he's talking about, we had MG here yesterday. Moon over here on the Telegram, talking about wanting to launch a compound on Pump Science when they open it to the public. And he came to the source, directly to the source, to get some information on how to launch that compound. And he wants to put together a team to help launch the compound on Pump Science. So the Shillers are assembling to help launch that compound. And I could not be more excited for it. That is exactly what the Telegram is here for. So, W. Let's go. If anyone wants to help launch a compound on Pump Science, absolutely reach out to him. I'm sure he's still putting together the team. If we can get a strong community-led team, I'm sure it will outperform a majority of the compounds listing without a strong community-built team. This bull run sucks so far. The moment I see green, the market crashes. I know. It's just because there's not the money sloshing around like there used to be. Right? Because the money has not been there like it used to be in the last couple of cycles, we've just not seen the same type of free gains and everything. Teamwork makes the dream work, friends. Let's go. Let's go. Like, genuinely, this cycle has been so fundamentally different than the last couple of cycles, but that's because the underlying has not changed yet. So it's been different on a function of time. The time for this cycle has been very different, but the economic policies have not been any different. We have elevated interest rates, which we had in last cycle too, but we saw the crazy bull market when the interest rates got cut down. We saw the Fed. We go like, this is just, I feel like this should be common knowledge to all of you guys, but it's good to get refreshers. Like last cycle, the Fed was draining money out of the market from the peak in the cycle, right? The peak in the 2017 cycle, they started draining money. And then all the way until the end of 2019, they were draining money out of the system, the Fed. This is the Fed's balance sheet. There was not that free money floating around. You go back to Bitcoin, if we go to a monthly chart here, you can see it a little bit easier. The last cycle, the end of 2017, they started draining money out of the system. And then they didn't stop draining money out of the system until right around here, right? And so we got that big push in Bitcoin, but it wasn't really an altcoin market at all. And then the Fed stopped pulling money out and started printing money. And we saw a crazy spike in the money supply for a couple of years. And we saw Bitcoin and the altcoin market more specifically go crazy. So maybe it'd be better to see the total market cap for this type of comparison. But we saw crypto go crazy all the way from 150 billion up to 3 trillion. So a 20x in crypto. This cycle, like we've been going up, yes, but the Fed has not stopped draining liquidity out of the markets. They're slowly starting to change that here. And most people are telling them that they need to stop and they need to cut rates and they need to ease up on the QT. But fundamentally, we've still been in the same type of a bear market environment since this entire cycle compared to what we saw last cycle. So we need that liquidity injection for altcoins to go nuts. And we just don't have it right now. So that's why we've just seen the Bitcoin market going nuts. That's why Bitcoin dominance has just continued to go higher and higher and higher, because we are not in an environment where everyone just has stimmy checks. We're in an environment where people are at maxed out credit cards. Household debt and credit data. We're at a point right now where people are pretty much maxed out on their credit cards. It's just been going up and up and up, which is not really that different from normal times, right? We usually have people at maxed out credit cards, but it's just not been the same. We like slight tick up in unemployment, slight tick down in number of jobs that are hiring, which is saying something, because most of the time people, like companies, will just post a job and not actually hire for it just so that they can look good to their competitors. You know, it's been a very, very rocky market, and so you got to take the wins when they can, and that leads to everyone just dipping out the moment a green candle comes in, which is sometimes a mistake. You never know when you're going to catch the next crazy rally. This stuff changes up very quickly. I mean, that's the crypto market at least. You go look at the stock market. The stock market is not having that same type of a story. You go look at the indices, right? The indices are at all-time highs. You go look at things like Roblox, right? A company that you probably didn't realize was doing so well. But Roblox, in the last 2 years or so, you go look back to this time in 2024 to where we are now, Roblox is up 170%. That's crazy. You go look at Reddit starting to rebound pretty substantially. So like these are kind of the altcoins of the financial markets, right? Reddit had a very drastic crash in the beginning of 2025 where it went from $220 all the way down to 78. Now it's coming back to life up at 150. You go look at things like Palantir, some of the altcoins of the traditional markets. Palantir's forward PE ratio is like 200. That's 10 times higher than most companies. Like these are frothed with liquidity right now. Everyone's just in the traditional markets. Is it okay to share if you are more into Bitcoin or ETH or alts percentage-wise? I'd be more than happy to share that, MG. More than happy. Let's address C90's comment here first. I had 24-hour notice, and you bet your bottom dollar I opened up a new 0% 18-month card just as backup of funds. I never held a balance, though. Smart. Very smart, C90. I don't know if you have a house either, but something you could consider doing as a backup plan, right? You're financially sound, and so I'm not making any kind of recommendations to you. I'm just making sure that you've checked all of your potential options. But worst case scenario, if you were to right now open a HELOC on your house, if you have a house, I don't know, but if you were to open a HELOC, not use any of the money, but have it there as basically a massive credit card, right? You do open the door to, if you're not responsible with it, to literally ruining your entire life. But you open up a HELOC on the house while prices are high, and you could tap into it if shit hits the fan, right? This investor is not in either Bitcoin or ETH. He's in these DGen DeSci tokens for the higher potential upside. Thank you, C90. That is spot on. The percent of Bitcoin that I have, I believe I have like $200 or $300 of it floating around in some random wallets out there. So basically 0% Bitcoin. Percent of Ethereum, I think I have like half an ETH chilling somewhere. So basically also 0. So let's just say that my portfolio is 1% Bitcoin and or Ethereum. The rest of it is in projects that are sub $200 million in market cap. And a majority of it is in things that are sub $50 million market cap. I would say probably like 70% of it is in stuff that's sub $50 million market caps. So yeah, when the market goes down, when altcoins get crushed, I feel it. I feel it a lot. But when it goes up, I also feel it. And I love that feeling. You got to remember, like, I didn't really have much in the market at the bottoms here, right? Like, I got fired from my job. When did I get fired from my job? I think I got fired right here, if I recall. I got fired in March of 2022. So I got fired right in here from my job. And then I started doing content and focusing in 100% on crypto, right as everything fell off the biggest cliff that I've ever seen, right? This is Ethereum. And then I had to live off of the funds that I had made from the last cycle. And so the money that I've made this cycle, the money that I have is all from what I've made in the markets. And so catching things like Research Hub, catching things like Riff and Euro, catching things like Data Lake, catching things like Noble, right? Like Psy, like Axon, all those plays that we've caught and made really crazy returns on, that's where all the money's come from. So I've been keeping it in there and just compounding it whenever things continue to blow up. Like, yeah, every time the market has gone on one of these legs up, every time we've seen a leg up in the market like this, one leg. Two legs. Three legs. And I'm hoping this is fourth leg. My net worth has gone bonkers. But it is dangerous. Exactly why you're that investor, not just a investor. Exactly, Solus. I am that investor. That lunatic. That investor is just proof that jobs are a figment of our imagination. He vibes rather than works. Exactly. Listen. There is a reason that money is referred to as liquidity. Okay? Money is just water, all right? Shout out Robert Kiyosaki or whatever his name is. Money is just water, okay? And so as the tide flows in and out, as the tide flows in and out, and in and out, and in and out, as the tide flows, you ride with the liquidity and you can make disgusting returns with or without a job. It's nice to have a job, right? You get that peace of mind, kind of, until they fire you for not taking a COVID vaccine. And then you are like, wait, I thought I had a stable income, but it turns out I didn't have anything that was stable. It was all just a figment of my imagination. None of this, we made all of this up. We made up money. Money's not intrinsically valuable. Neither is gold. Nothing's intrinsically valuable except for food, air, and water. That's it. Everything else, we just assign arbitrary valuations to. So that's my rant. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk there. I have C90's got 60 to 70% equity. Damn. Yeah, don't refinance. Don't take it out, but open like a credit line against that money so that if everything hits, like shit hits the fan really bad for you, you have a safety net that's there. And then if nothing ever happens, you don't ever have to ever touch it, right? But you at least have it opened. Because if you're going through shit, the bank's not going to give it to you. If you're going through a bad time, the bank will not give you that HELOC. But if you get it before you're going through a bad time, and then you enter that bad time, you can max it out. But you will probably end up ruining the rest of your life. Not really, but you get what I'm saying. Oh, my back. Did you guys hear that? Jeez, you are deep in trenches, full degen mode. You're damn right, MG. Until the end of the year. The end of the year, I will not be like that. But while we're here right now, I am absolutely in it big time. That investor codename, Hemi Neutron. Oh my god. He already gives us alpha. You're damn right. Would be cool to have a private Discord for a small fee. People would join that alpha from you. Join MG. MG. Join the Discord right now. Link in the description. Join the Telegram right now. Link in the description. If you guys aren't there, you should be. I'm in there pretty consistently. Not every single moment of every day because I'm usually building stuff and trying to progress things, but I'm there. Always open to questions. The reason why I don't have a paid group is because I would feel like I am financially liable to give you guys constant alpha. I'm more just there that just pops in when I get stuff. When things come across my desk, I share it with you guys. But if I made you guys pay for it, then I'd feel like I owe it to you. And then that's where I think mistakes would end up happening as I'm trying to force things, you know? So we're just here, we're chilling, Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard, talk about DeSci and the broader crypto markets. Patrick is rebirth of Michael Burry and Big Short. What? Yes, I am, Beagle. And the crazy part is that we're opening up the time for that again. We have entered into the time frame again where I feel like the Big Short plays are coming on the table pretty shortly, right? Not yet. I think we still have a solid 6 months of this stuff before the music starts to slow down. But I do think next year is going to be one of the roughest years that we've seen, personally. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope everything keeps going and the markets keep trucking along higher, but we're in the middle of a housing crisis. Again, somehow. We're in the middle of a stock market that's just continuing to go higher and higher and higher despite a lot of bad data coming in. Maybe we'll soft land and everything will smooth out and be okay and we can continue the plane ride, but odds are we go into a bit of a recession or at least a bumpy road. And again, there's ways to make money no matter what direction the market's going in. Only alpha you need is Bill. You're damn right. AI agent Bill. We're going to send him to 100 mil. $5 per token. And then $7. And then 10. And then 50. And then 100. He's got the same supply as Bitcoin. So as long as his price is below Bitcoin's price, then he's undervalued. Just joined both. Let's go, MG. Welcome. Welcome in to the cult. Now that you've joined, you must offer up a sacrifice of sorts. Anyway, you profit when you shill coins you're in, even if you don't charge you for alpha, even if you don't charge for your alpha. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I shill coins to you guys and I lose money. Genuinely, a lot of times actually, when I'm talking about coins to you guys, I end up losing some money. But I get into them before most of the market knows. I tend to position myself significantly earlier than most of the market. And then the wave of attention will come back and circle around as it always does. And then we make crazy money together. Most of the time when I'm out here shilling coins, they go down. Like there's 16 of you here right now. I don't pull the market. I don't move the market at all. I shill to you guys Bill constantly. Bill, the DeSci guy. Like watch this. He's $170,000 circulating market cap. He's a gem. He's undervalued. He's going to go crazy. Like getting him up to a $10 million market cap, he's going to have a solid, what is that? A 50x from here. Bill is going to 50x, meaning a dollar turns into $50. $100 turns into $5,000. He's probably going to go down in the next couple minutes. We sacrificed Thuna. Yes, yes. Sacrifice, sacrifice. WMG. It would be really funny if one of you guys went in and sold like $1 of Bill just to make him go down a little bit after that rant. It'd be really funny. But then buy back like 20 grand so he goes up to 10 cents. It doesn't take a lot of money to move these things, but right now there is no money to slosh around. After Bitcoin goes on the rally, that's when some money enters into the space. And it's looking like we're going to get it probably not this week, but next week. If I had to take a guess as to when we see Bitcoin break out of the circle and start putting in all-time highs again, I think not this week, but next week. We're getting a good reset of the RSI again, and things are looking pretty decent, but it's not quite there yet, right? That dipped here down to 98,000 was really aggressive And it caused the RSI to go all the way down into the oversold territory, but then that push back came so quickly that it really just bounced the RSI back up to where it was. So somehow we've gone lower and the RSI is basically at the same. Yeah. I think we're looking good though. I really do. I think this dip that we're in right now is going to be the final dip. I think we do something like this, come down a little bit, bounce, and then probably after the 4th of July, we start putting in the highs. We break out to all-time highs on the total crypto market cap. In this circle. By the end of July, we're putting in new all-time highs. Thanks for the invite initiation, of course. Welcome, welcome. Sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. 3 blue candles, raise your monitor slightly off the desk and chant Bill Nye, the Science Guy theme song and make your offering to the DeSci gods. Yes, basically that's exactly what has to happen. You must record yourself doing it and submit it to the Telegram. That's the only option. That, or you have to pay your cult initiation fee, which is 1% of everything you make over the next 6 months. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules, all right? I'm just here to enforce it. It do be what it do be. Okay, all right, we've gotten kind of off topic here, haven't we? Haven't we? Solana here putting in a good daily candle, up 2% when the rest of the market's down 1%. It is very fascinating to me to see the NASDAQ have such an aggressive push higher. I think a lot of that is driven by obviously some of the big tech names like Netflix. Netflix just destroying everyone's expectations. One thing I will say, okay, so back here, I was chanting that I thought Palantir was super undervalued when it was under 10 bucks. And so I bought a bunch of it and then I ended up actually selling it after it went up to like 20 bucks to go full port into crypto. But I thought I sold all of it. I did not sell all of it. In fact, I left like $2,000 worth in an IRA account. And so I opened that up the other day because I'd forgotten about it, to see that I was up a crazy amount. And so I took profits literally on Friday. That was me. No, I'm just kidding. I took profits on it out of Palantir. I don't know if any of you guys play the stock market too much, but you should get used to it here soon because we're going to be rotating a good chunk of capital into the markets very shortly. Yeah, crypto market is the sacrifice waiting for it to be reincarnated. You spot on. Spot on. The crypto market is the sacrifice right now, but we're close. What coins are you buying, guys? 100x possibility in July. That is a recipe for disaster, DTJ775. The 100x possibility for July is a very extreme mentality, which is going to end up making you cycle through things and miss out on the pumps. But I get what you're asking. I think you just want to be careful about the time frame on it. Let's just say 100x possibilities, not with the timeline of July. I would put that a lot of weight on the bio IPTs and the pump science molecules. I would put a lot of weight on those. This watch list here, I think, has 100x possibilities. All of their market caps are, basically all of them are sub $1 million. And I think that these are going to be insane opportunities. Most of them are sub $500,000 market caps. These coins in DeSci are all extremely possible to hit that 100x threshold. Now, by the end of July, who knows? Nobody does. Long term though, I could 100% see some of these going up even as much as 1,000x. We've hit a couple thousand x's here, so a little pat yourself on the back. make you feel good. It's just, nobody knows when it's going to happen, you know? How far down can we see Bitcoin dip if it's going to dip, my guy? Good question. I think we're in the middle of that Bitcoin dip. I think that what we're going through right now, I think we're going to come down, find support at one of these moving averages, so like 105,000, and then we will get that breakout, right? Because in the current state of Bitcoin, we're kind of in this bit of a bull flag here. You guys see it, I see it. Well, I drew that one kind of poorly, but we're in a bit of a bull flag. So I don't think we come down to the bottom of the range here, but I do think that over the next week, we come down to 105 at some point, and then we get support and can break out. Probably break out to that 110, find support again, and then find the crazy rally up to 150,000-ish. Somewhere up here in the little basketball hoop that I drew. Somewhere around here. I think we'll stay in this upward channel and have the rest of that bull market for the final leg, in my opinion. But I think we need to have a little bit more of that retesting on the moving averages before we get that crazy pump. Go to pump.fun, buy a random coin with a dog in its picture, thank me later. Oh, okay, Beagle. All right, Beagle. EGS, very bullish. Yes, EGS, very bullish. ART, very bullish. Gaussy, very bullish. All of the IPTs, very bullish. Could be the strongest current compound with experiments when experiments start. ART has a lot of potential for sure. No memes here. Yeah, sorry DTJ775. No memes. And there's a good reason for it though, okay? There's a good reason for it. When you're looking, what's the rationality for being in a meme coin, right? Let's think about this. The rationality is that you can catch it at $100,000 market cap and ride it to 10 mil and get that 100x, right? That's your rationality, I'm assuming. You want that 100x from meme coins, and meme coins are just where everyone is, right? That's where all the scammers are too. How many times have you actually hit 100x? Probably not that often. I've never hit 100x in a meme coin. That's not true. Actually, Dogecoin last cycle, I hit 100x, which was insane. I put like $100 into it and it ended up turning into like, it was insane. But regardless, the same type of returns, but with less to pick from, meaning your odds of picking the one that is going to do it is much higher, right? The DeSci microcap list, these IP tokens, they've taken the intellectual property behind drug compounds and put it on chain, fractionalized the ownership of that drug compound's IP, and allowed for us to buy into them. They're having the scientists and the researchers put them through trials to get them to clinical trials, and they are inching closer and closer. And every time we get some good data dumps from them, they go crazy. Every time we have seen DeSci get an attention cycle, we've seen them go crazy, right? I don't know if you've seen DeSci before, but one prime example is Riff. Look at that. This Rifampicin, was sitting down here at a $5,000 market cap for a couple months, and then it had a big pump to like 80,000, and then it sold off to 20,000, and then it pumped from 20,000 to 200 million. We saw the craziest rally anyone's ever seen in the span of like 2 weeks. And so these types of moves are going to happen again on the IP tokens because, again, they have a real reason to exist. They have the catalyst, and people are not going to rug pull you on them. Getting into these DeSci IPTs give you the same type of returns as a meme coin, minus the chances of someone rug pulling you on it because there's actual scientists conducting experiments with them. So that's my pitch there. Hopefully I did a good job for you guys. Forge, IP token. I love this one. I think this one's got a really, really bright future ahead of it. $100,000 market cap. They are using bacteria to recycle batteries. The bacteria is eating away at stuff and leaving only the useful components, the useful elements of batteries so they can recycle them. When they get this thing up and running, it will be doing more in revenue per day than the entire market cap right now. No, DTJ, it will not. XRP will not hit $1,000 in the next 5 years. I'm sorry to be the one to say that to you, but that's my opinion. If you disagree with it, so be it. I'm not a fan of XRP because the use case is not real. It's real and people are using it, yes. However, the total addressable market for it, getting the entire global monetary supply to convert over to XRP as a standard for monetary policy is not something that makes any sense. So getting it to $1,000 per coin makes 0 sense. That's not what's going to end up happening with it. And part of the reason I'm so confident in saying that is because you can liken the utility of XRP to the utility of a chair, okay? And before anyone gets offended by that, we have Ripple Labs, which has created a predefined number of XRP tokens, and every month they unlock some of them, aka they produce X quantity of chairs and they sell them off to people who need a chair. And the institutions come in and they OTC some of the XRP over to them and they buy their chairs for the month. And then we wait till the next month when Ripple creates more chairs. And the utility of XRP is like that of a chair. You can buy it and you can sit on it and you can trade it and you can do whatever you want with it, but it's not something that's going to just hold its value for an extended period of time, especially not when you have the main companies like JP Morgan, for example, that you'd expect to be onboarded to XRP, just instead of being onboarded to XRP, forking Ethereum, creating their own private blockchain version of Ethereum where they don't need the public ledger keepers, and just creating a blockchain that they can conduct instantaneous settlement of transactions on, get all the utility of XRP, but without having to have any of the volatility of XRP, you know? You go see companies like that, like they're not using it. And so there's just not really a point in putting money into it, in my opinion. Now, I said that, I've been saying that for a very long time. And yet you go look at XRP and it did absolutely go crazy. Anyone who ignored that and was just buying the dip throughout this period, right? Anyone who was buying the dip, let's say you had a terrible average price, you made 300%. And shout out to anyone who made that, because that is some crazy good gains. But ultimately, there's a lot better opportunities out there that just make more sense to me. You know, this is a good chart. Nobody can deny that. But this is also the market cap, not the token price. This is also not a good chart for that XRP. XRP divided by Bitcoin, so not a great, still not in USDs, but you might as well just buy Bitcoin if you're going to be in something like this. Could it pop off and get to the upper bound range here? Yeah, this is XRP divided by Bitcoin rather than dollars. So if you're going to buy XRP instead of Bitcoin, you would want it to outperform. And so far in the entire existence of XRP, it has not outperformed Bitcoin, so you might as well just hold Bitcoin. Right now, we're up, trying to find support above the moving averages on the weekly here, but we are in an area where it has consistently gotten rejected all the way back into 2020. So probably a good time to take profits on it, because I would bet money that it comes back down to the bottom end of the range. Maybe it goes to the top end first, but there's no guarantee of it. That investor watch list is where it's at. Let's go. W Beagle. Let's see what else you guys are chatting about. That's crazy. Let's go. DTJ, now get ready to be shocked. Yeah. It's like the Quelm Initiative's Q and Pi network. I don't really know, but I agree with the Pi reference to XRP. You gotta have a little of Bitcoin and a lot of XRP. Disagree, Ricky. Other way around if you're gonna do it. And this chart kind of perfectly points that out. If it looked like this, I bet you could make the argument that it was gonna be better. Right? This looks like it's going to pop off and continue upwards, but that is just the price scale inverted. This looks like it's going to pop and break below. There's just like, why would you own XRP at a $40 billion market cap when you could come in here and buy something like Research Coin, which is Brian Armstrong's project? Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, is also the CEO of Research Hub. Research Hub is a DeSci project with $42 million market cap. Why would you buy XRP when you could buy this? Like, you get it? Brian Armstrong, again, I'll say it, the CEO of Coinbase is also the CEO of Research Hub. Research Hub is a crypto project that is in DeSci that is trying to transform the academic publication landscape, and their market cap is $40 million. This makes a lot more sense to me to hold if you're gonna make some gambles in the crypto world. But bro, what platform do you use to buy Forge? I don't see it in Phantom Wallet, Binance, maybe MEXC. No. Forge is not going to be on Phantom, Binance, or MEXC. Forge is going to be on Base, so Uniswap or MetaMask. Let's go to Catalyst. This is probably not going to be, you got too many things here. You have to be willing to like sit on it though. Just full disclosure. These are not things that are just going to pop off really quickly. Well, they will, but we just don't know when they'll pop off. Okay. Explore. These guys, top DeSci projects. These are IP token projects that you can pick through. You can read through them, figure out which ones are interesting to you, and then scoop a bag of them. They are all extremely small market caps for what they're going for. Carta Forge is here. So Carta Forge is this one from ValleyDAO. So I'll put this link in the chat if you guys want it. Go ahead and research through them. Phantom supports Base 2. Oh yeah, I forgot it does. But you can go look through these. Vita RNA, working on longevity. They've created, again, this is intellectual property that has been tokenized. So you can buy the IP behind a drug compound. Vita RNA created a drug compound that deals with nonsense mutations, meaning they enhance or they reduce the odds of getting cancer, a specific type of tumorous cancer, to make you live longer, right? Market cap's like $2 million, $3 million or something. AB4AD, antibodies for Alzheimer's disease. So they're working to cure Alzheimer's. You can buy the intellectual property behind that. You have Hemp Knitwear, a company that's making hemp compete with the cotton industry. You can buy the intellectual property behind that. It's crazy. These opportunities are crazy. I already explained Carta Forge to you guys. Vita Fast, very similar to Vita RNA, just different molecule. FACC, FACC, there for women's health. Reproductive system, inflammation in the ovaries, really cool. You can get it for an astonishing like $200,000 market cap. I would encourage you to go through and read some of these because the odds of you picking one that goes up are very high. Not financial advice. I don't know your personalized financial scenarios, so don't take it as personalized financial advice, but this is where the vast majority of my money is. Probably an unhealthy amount. Thanks for the alpha, of course. Almost all of these are going to be on Ethereum. And then you have the pump science molecules, which if you haven't seen it before, go to pump.science. These are longevity compounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 molecules right now, all for longevity, all very small market caps. Likely to take off if we see a DeSci bull market, which I tend to believe we will. All right, guys, I didn't realize it was already 107. I got to go get ready to continue to build Bill. What about Bitcoin, bro? Will it hit 500K, 1 million in 5 years? I love your question there, and I will give you my honest answer to it. If we look at Bitcoin, let's go to the all-time history index because I have less drawings on it. If we look at Bitcoin, over a long enough time horizon, I believe it will undoubtedly hit $1 million. I don't know if it'll be 5 years. If I had to bet, it probably wouldn't be 5 years, okay? Over a long enough time horizon, I believe Bitcoin will absolutely hit $1 million because I believe that over a long enough time horizon, the US dollar will fail just like every other fiat currency in the history of mankind has failed. So over a long enough time horizon, if Bitcoin is still around and the US dollar has failed, Bitcoin will be worth infinity compared to the US dollar, meaning 1 million, 10 million, 100 million. Yes, all of those will get hit. if you assume the dollar fails and Bitcoin does not, right? That makes sense? Just like if you were to denote gold in Venezuelan currency, the Venezuelan currency failed. Gold is worth infinity. No one would buy it for Venezuelan dollars. You know what I mean? Now, over 5 years, I could absolutely see Bitcoin putting in some highs here and getting to 250,000, maybe even 500,000 if everything goes really well. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I do believe that this upward trajectory will continue with time, just with some boom and bust phases. This cycle, so in the next 6 months or so, I think we see Bitcoin go up to 150 to 160,000. And that's where I believe it tops out. All right. Your time is your most valuable asset. So hopefully this was worth investing it into. I appreciate you guys being here with me. And I will see you all in tomorrow's live stream. Again, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard. Chris, I've not kept up with Baby. I'm still holding my Baby bag, but it is the first DeSci meme coin. So just hanging on tight to it to see if it does get another pop. It's in the Athena DAO family, so who knows? All right, peace.